Welcome. In today's video, I'm going to answer one of the questions that I get asked most often. Well, as with many things in life, the answer to that isn't completely straightforward, but I'm going to make it simple for you. In a few moments, I'm going to show you the different classes of motorhome and help you to understand which ones you can drive on your normal car licence. This particular motorhome is a Thor 4Winds Hurricane 31D. As far as American RVs go, this one's a baby. Undeniably, it's still very big, but how big is big? This small truck has a length of about 8.2 metres, so this motorhome's roughly 20% bigger than that 7.5 tonne lorry. This rigid truck has an overall length of 9.8 metres. That's a fairly decent sized lorry, but it's still not as big as the motorhome. I don't know about you, but personally I find it difficult to visualise how big something is by just looking at dimensions, so I'll try and give you some perspective here. I reckon just about everybody's been on a London bus at some stage in their life, so you should be able to actually relate to this. As you can see, it's just ever so slightly shorter, but if you stick a bike rack on the back, it's longer than a bus. This is Beep Beep, the little car that I tow along behind me. I'm not going to get into too much detail about the rules and practicalities of towing a car behind you in this video, but I am going to make one shortly that covers everything you need to know. Hit subscribe so you don't miss it. Having a little car like this that you can tow along with you is a great asset in most situations, as you don't have to pack up the motorhome and get it ready to travel every time you need to go out and get some milk.
Damn it.
That said though, it does come with its own unique set of problems. You wouldn't believe the scrapes I've got myself into while doing this. Adding the car on the back increases the length by approximately 40%. So if you're towing a car behind you, the chances are you're about the same length as a small articulated truck like this cement truck or a small tanker. But it's not quite as big as an articulated lorry with a full size 40-foot trailer like this one, which is the most common sort you'd see every day on the road. But if you, like me, have a boat which you could tow behind you, then you'd be at least as long as an Arctic with a 40-foot trailer. Okay, so we've established that it's bigger than a 7.5 tonne lorry, a 17 tonne lorry, and it's as big as a small articulated lorry. With a bike rack on the back, it's as big as a bus, and if you wanted to put some bigger trailer on the back, you could easily make it as big as a full-size articulated lorry. In most cases, you'd need an HGV licence or maybe a PSV licence to drive any of these vehicles, except the little 7.5 tonner, and you'll find out why that is in a few minutes. So it would stand to reason that you'd need an HGV licence to drive the motorhome, right? Well, as I said at the beginning, it's not that straightforward. The only definitive answer I can give you is maybe. But in a few minutes, I will show you how you can find out for sure. But before I do that, let's just look at why this is so complicated. In 1996, the DVLA decided to review the categories that you automatically get when you pass your UK test. I've got absolutely no idea what led them to carry out this review, but I've learnt a thing or two during my life, and normally I find that if something happens, it usually happens for a reason. I did do a bit of research though to see if I could find out what that reason was, but I couldn't find a single thing, so I'll just have to leave it up to you to use your imagination. So at this point it was decided that the laws would be changed and the new laws would come into effect on the 1st of January 1997. So let's take a look at this image of the back of a driving licence of somebody who passed their test after January the 1st, 97. Column 9 shows the categories, column 10 shows the date that the test was passed. Column 11 shows when the licence expires for those categories and needs reapplying for. And column 12, that's restrictions or conditions that are placed on the use of the licence. This restrictions category is an important one to look at because it can be specific to you as an individual. So let's have a quick look at what categories somebody who passed their test after 1997 would get on their driving licence automatically. Right, so we've got the AM category, which pertains to the type of small motorcycles like mopeds that you can ride. We've got the B category, which, as you'll see in a minute, is probably the most relevant category to this video. And then we've got the BE category, which tells you what you're able to tow. And then finally at the bottom is FKQ category, which covers things like agricultural tractors, lawn mowers and little electric vehicles with a speed of no more than 25 kilometers an hour. Let's take a closer look at the B and the BE categories. If you go to driving license categories in your Google browser, it should come up with this website. Just take a quick scroll down and find the category B. There it is. Don't forget, this is only for people who passed their test after January 97. They can drive vehicles up to 3,500 kilograms and additionally tow a trailer of up to 3,500 kilograms. Let's scroll down a bit and look at category BE. There's another important date here you've got to look at, because if you passed before, you're allowed to do one thing. If you passed after, you're allowed to do another. So if you passed before the 19th of January 2013, you can tow any size trailer within the towing limits of the vehicle. But if you passed after January 2013, then you're only allowed to tow a trailer of up to 3,500 kilograms full stop. So in summary, a person who passed their test after January the 1st, 1997 would automatically be entitled to drive a vehicle up to 3,500 kilograms whilst towing a trailer of up to 3,500 kilograms. Now we're going to compare that to somebody who passed their test before January the 1st, 1997. I fall into this category, so let's have a look at the back of my licence. Here we go. Right, so this is really going to allow you to see the difference in entitlement. If you remember, my son, he only got 4 categories and I've got 10. It's a huge difference. I did get the same B and BE categories, but in addition to that, I also automatically was given the C1 and C1E categories. So if we go back to that website, we can see how that alters things. Okay, here we go. Category C1. That allows me to drive vehicles between 3,500 and 7,500 kilograms. And as far as towing goes, I also was given the C1E category. And I've got to make a really important point here. This goes back to the restrictions. You might remember that I mentioned those earlier on. As you can see here, the C1E category says I can drive C1 category vehicles with a trailer over 750 kilograms. But the combined gross train weight cannot exceed 12,000 kilograms. But that's not actually correct, and that's because if you look at the C1E category on my driving licence, in the column 12 there's a restriction which you can see is just a code. I'm going to show you how that works now. Type driving licence codes UK into your browser and it comes up with this list of I think 125 different codes. Look at the code on your licence and then match it to this list, and then that will tell you what that code means to you. On my licence the code was 107, so we look at 107 on the list and it says not more than 8,250 kilograms. So despite the fact that we just looked at the licence and it said my gross train rate had a maximum of 12,000 kilograms, because I got this category automatically without passing a test, they've restricted my gross train weight to 8,250 kilograms. So in summary, if you passed your test before January the 1st, 1997, you're able to drive a vehicle of up to 7,500 kilograms, towing a trailer with a maximum of 750 kilograms. But if your vehicle weighs less, your trailer can weigh more, so long as your combined gross train weight doesn't exceed 8,250 kilograms. So you need to know what your vehicle weighs. It's very important. The easiest way to do that is to look at the V5 document if you've got it handy, but if you haven't bought it yet and you're looking around, you can go to this website, type in the registration number, and it allows you to see lots of information about that specific vehicle. What we're looking for is the revenue weight, which basically is the same as a gross vehicle weight. Here's mine here. 5,986 kilograms. That's the maximum gross weight of the vehicle. So that's the vehicle with the fuel, the occupants, any luggage. If you exceed that weight at any time, then you're driving an overweight vehicle. Just to make the maths easier, we'll call it 6 tonne or 6,000 kilogram. So the vehicle I'm driving weighs 6,000 kilograms. That means I can tow up to 2,250 kilograms and still be within my maximum gross train weight. Since Beep Beep, even when fully loaded with passengers in it, weighs less than a tonne, I'm legal. I think it's fair to say that we've proven without a shadow of a doubt that size doesn't matter. If this video solved a problem of yours or even just clarified something that you'd always wondered about, please hit the like button for me. That helps me more than you'd know. Thanks.